Alright YouTube, it's the Shadow King, King Naju, here with a review of Rosario Vampire, Chapter 30. Our chapter starts off 10 days before the school festival, and everyone is getting everything ready. Hokuto tells Tsukune that the school festival will be livelier than he expects, since the alumni are coming to this festival as well, between the days of October 29th and Halloween. Well, it wouldn't be a monster-themed anime if Halloween wasn't involved, so there's that. Then we cut to the newspaper club, who is also preparing for the festival. Kurumu is being shown doing multiple tasks and receiving more of those, and because of that, she's feeling overbooked. And then she notes that Tsukune hasn't attended the newspaper club in quite a while, because Hokuto has him busy. But Mocha says that it's natural since Tsukune respects Hokuto because he's a great guy. However, Kurumu doesn't trust him since he looks like the villainous type. Wow. It is really sad when Kurumu, who's supposed to be not the brightest person in the group, not saying she's dumb, she's just very lazy and doesn't do well with her grades. But taking that into account and the fact that these girls who are supposed to be better at her in academics and overall intelligence, the fact that Kurumu has better instincts than her, than all of them, is just kind of sad, really. But on the flip side, that's actually good for Kurumu for good instincts. Good job. So Kurumu says she doesn't trust Hokuto, and Yukari tries to joke it off as saying that Kurumu is just plain jealous. I'm not really sure how that works, but whatever. Mocha then starts to wonder if Tsukune will give up the newspaper club for the student committee. Then we go back to the student committee, and Hokuto asks Tsukune what his class will be doing, and Tsukune replies that his school is going to be doing goldfish scooping. But she fears that Miss Nekoname, being a cat monster, will eat the fish, which leads a comedic reaction of shock on Hokuto's face. So it's nice to see that the villain can have some comedic side to him as well. Hokuto then dismisses Tsukune from the day's work and says that they'll continue another time. And he also decides to compliment Tsukune for being so brave as to stand just stand by the student committee when other people were running away from them due to the antithesis group targeting them. And he says that because of this, this bravery also is making him stronger as well. And while Tsukune is leaving the student committee, he notices that his holy lock is continuing to break after constant times of going from human to vampire mode. So, as I said before, this is definitely building up to something, and when we see it, it's going to be a huge payoff. Then we see that Kiria has been watching Tsukune from a tree this whole time, and he approaches Tsukune saying that he likes his bracelet and wants one like it, or possibly wants that exact bracelet. But Tsukune says he can't give it to him, and he leaves. And Hokuto is apparently watching this and berates Kiria for exposing himself to Tsukune and possibly having Tsukune identify him as an affiliate of the antithesis group. But Kiria rebuttals that he's also taking the same risk since Hokuto is being seen as a model student, and being around Kiria would be bad for his image as well. And he also knows that Hokuto's plan has worked, which was hurting Tsukune to where the exorcist had to help him and thus become his shield. And by being closer to Tsukune, he's also becoming closer to the exorcist. So, so we're already seeing that Hokuto is a master planner with his intelligence. And speaking of plans, Hokuto says it's time to move on to their main plan. Uh, but before he can explain that, he hears something in the bushes and thought that he heard somebody watching them, but he couldn't find anybody. And it turns out that it's Mocha who was overhearing them, and she runs back to the club and tells Kurumu and Yukari about it. Then Tsukune arrives and overhears about this conversation about Hokuto possibly being the antithesis leader, but he thinks that she is mistaken. Mocha tries to convince him otherwise, but Tsukune says that he believes Kiria is deceiving Hokuto. And this infuriates Kurumu because she's taking Tsukune is taking the word and trust of someone he barely even knows over people who have been with him, protected him, and befriended him for almost a year now. Trusting people you barely know over your good friends. Our hero, everyone! So Tsukune tries to go back to the community headquarters to convince himself that Hokuto is a good person, but much to his shock, Hokuto is surrounded by a whole plethora of dead bodies. So yeah, that's a very disturbing image to go to. And while Tsukune is caught in disbelief as Hokuto reaches for an iron bar to beat and possibly kill him. Then we cut back to Mocha telling Ruby she wants Hokuto to be investigated for possibly being the leader of Antithesis. And Ruby is also shocked and almost at disbelief that Hokuto could possibly be the leader of Antithesis. But she agrees to do this for Tsukune's sake. However, they don't realize until too late that Kiria is right behind them and is about to ambush them with a giant axe. And then we cut back to Hokuto, who has severely beaten Tsukune and damaged a lot of the furniture around him. And Tsukune starts to blame himself for trusting Hokuto and putting the girls in so much danger because of it. And is also hurt by the fact that he thought Hokuto was like him and could have made him stronger because of that. But sadly for Tsukune, Hokuto says he doesn't care about such sentimentality. Hokuto has only been in 2 issues, and he's already proven himself to be a callous villain who is better at planning and very threatening. How is it that characters like Hokuto remain in obscurity and lame villains like Obito Uchiha get the spotlight? I'll never understand people. But anyway, Obito says that he's more interested in seeing what Tsukune's strength is like. The strength he uses in his vampire mode, which was the same strength he used to defeat his minions. Fortunately for Tsukune, Hokuto is stopped before he can strike Tsukune again with a bunch of tarot cards and ice, signaling that Kurumu, Mizure, and Yukari have come to rescue him. Kurumu goes into succubus form and states she knew Hokuto was the villainous type. I already brought that up, that she has better instincts than the entire newspaper club, and slashes at Hokuto with her claws. Then she tells Tsukune that it's okay, that it only hurts him to try to protect everybody on your own, and instead they should be working together to protect each other. But before they can reconcile and celebrate, Hokuto rises up practically unscathed, saying that he is disappointed that the girls are preventing him from seeing Tsukune's true strength, and gets ready to fight them all. But before we can see how that fight ends, the chapter ends off with Ruby arriving with covered in blood on her. I mean, originating from her shoulder, and saying that Mocha has been captured. I told you all that shit was getting real in these chapters, and Hokuto's already proving himself an intimidating threat, uh, very quickly. So I'm really excited to see what will happen next. So next time we'll go into the chapter 31.